everyone. It's the Mike Rogers Show, and I'm Mike Rogers. And today, click the subscribe and the like button, because today we have a very special guest, and she's a singer, she's a film producer, and she makes really, really cool stuff. Her name is Beck Black. Hey, Beck, how's it going? Hey, so can you Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Just, who you are, what you're doing, and everything that's happening.
Hi, I am Beck Black, and I'm a multi-genre artist, visual and audio, and I love creating interesting and unique songs, screenplays, everything.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos, and I have to say that I'm so impressed by the production and the camera work and the direction. It's really, really, really high quality stuff, and I think a lot of bands should aspire to that. What kind of advice would you have for a band who, just wants to make a video and then takes their camera out, and most of them just make crappy videos? What is your steps and processes?
Well, within the caveat of creating audio visual, I think even starting to the concept of the song, I think the visual is a major component of it. Trying to figure out what your message is and the context of it and how to deliver it to the audience from your mind and concept to the creation of the entire song, which involves more than just your ideas. It involves other artists. So the collaboration of that, of course, and having some sort of financial means is another detail, which is quite complex. I think that as a graduate from film school at UNCW underneath Frank Capra Jr.'s program.
Really? You went to
Yes.
UNC? Wow.
UNCW, yes. And that helped me even become a songwriter in essence, because I was studying screenwriting and directing. So first and foremost, I was building my persona as an actress, so I could create my own films. And then within that, somehow music came about. It wasn't like I chased after the musician's sort of career. It sort of came to me, especially with one of my first short films that I starred in. I played a sailor, and I acted with myself as both the sailor and the muse, and I created this song for the role called I'm Just a Sailor. I'm just a sailor in the sea of love.
That's beautiful.
I'm just a sailor, find the beauty of, come with me, we'll sail away on the seven seas. And that became the theme song for the film. And it was directed by David Dunn and produced by David Lynch's nephew, also named David. So it had this eerie quality to it. So songwriting came about within building a character of a sailor, and that was my first song. And from there, music started becoming more of my life, and then having to create the music video for it. Again, it's just going back to the conceptualization of Sailor, but I've never recorded that song professionally, actually, Mike. So maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Wow. So you started out in film, right? Film, video, or whatever you want to call it, and then you moved an actress, and then you've moved basically to music. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So when was like the lightning or the realization that I want to be a musician or whatever? How did that happen?
It was a sequential amount of events that happened that were somewhat life startling. I lost my father. And he always wanted me to play music. When I graduated from UNCW from film school, he bought me a beautiful 88 key chord, and that's why I wrote these songs. I'm Just a Sailor, Life's a Circus, I mean, Rock On, all these songs came out of this beautiful piano, this keyboard he got me. And so, and as a child, my godfather taught me about the blues. They would always give me a new harmonica. So I was already had this blues soul and this rock and roll sort of feel. And as a child, I learned how to play piano. I was a classically trained pianist. And even before my father passed, I actually lost him again because when I was 9 or 10, my parents got divorced. So I started playing the piano as a therapy, learning it in rock and roll. And then eventually when I graduated, my dad got me this beautiful keyboard. And so when I was out in Los Angeles, I'd only been there for a year and a half. My father passed away unexpectedly, and music came into my path. This band and I got together one night in downtown LA called Heavy Water Experiments, and they said, we need a keyboard player. And I said, okay, cool. And all of a sudden I'm a keyboard player. Now I'm a backup singer in a band. And then we're doing Muddy Waters and stuff like that. And I'm singing, and we're also doing like Black Sabbath kind of stuff. It's a psychedelic band. And they were like, we want more of Beck Black. We want her to come up front more. So then I started coming up front, and then Classic Rock Magazine, they did an article, and like all of a sudden I'm like a musician.
Wow.
And really it was just like therapeutic, but like consequential sort of chain of events. And the acting industry is it's a whole nother thing, you know what I mean? And I was getting small little parts, but nothing really big. But it's like music came to me, and it's like, I'm here full time for you. You know what I mean? It's not acting where it's part time, or I'm like a stunt double on something or a stand-in. It was like music came to me like a rush. It was like it chose me.
Wow. So this, tell me about this band. So, music came to you, but how did this band, we need a keyboardist. What are you going to do? Ask that lady. No, they're not going to. How did that happen? How'd you get started with the band? Tell me about that.
Well, one of my best friends, Catherine, she said, there's this guy I'm kind of dating, he's a drummer, and I want you to meet their band. I think, because she knew I played piano and I tinkered around and wrote I'm Just a Sailor and stuff. And she was like, hey, my friend can play, why don't you ask her? So I had a boyfriend at the time that used to be this king of the 60s soul scene in downtown LA, and so I was at his club one night, and he was always off, doing his thing, and the band came to meet me, and we had a meeting, and I was like, I told my boyfriend that next day, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to be in a band. He's like, you're in the film industry and you're going to be in a band? We're breaking up. That's just, you can't even have a dinner with me. You know what I mean? I was like, whatever. My dad had just passed away, and he was like, you should be done mourning the death of your father. And so it was just like all this like domino effect of like things happening that, you don't understand what it means. It's this chaos, and out of the chaos, this band happened, and it saved my life because music saved my life. I had no idea how bad I needed it in my life. So I feel like, a bit of a muse, and I'm amused by it. But I mean, I can tell you that the majority of the songs come from somewhere else in the universe. I'm just a channel, they just come, you know what I mean? And you've got to put them, figure out what they are, record them, eventually get them recorded later professionally, because that's where demos are so important. So you have a memory of what you conceptualize, because if you don't do it when it's coming through your head, then you lose it,
Yeah.
You lose it.
What you just told me, for some reason I have an inspiration of Janis Joplin. Like, you remind me of Janis Joplin. And how about, so all these frustrations and things led to where you are now. So who has been like your big inspiration, like an inspirational singer or artist? Who has inspired you the most until now?
Well, during that whole thing, when all that was going on, I was like in this Jim Morrison world, and like the whole reason why I moved to Los Angeles is I had this fascination with the Doors, and So, because Jim Morrison's from the East Coast, I'm from the East Coast, we're both part Cherokee Indian. He went to film school in Florida, I went to film school in North Carolina, and then he went out west and had the sort of like visionary quest, some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy that you feel like you're just supposed to go somewhere. Even as a child, like I would tell my dad when I was little, like, I'm gonna move to California when I grow up. And I said San Diego for some reason, but I was like, I was like, I'm gonna be an actress. And when I was like 4, I'm gonna be, so I just had this thing. I also said I was gonna be the president's wife. I don't know what that means, but like, hey, maybe one day somebody will elect me for something. I could be the first female president. Yeah. So anyways, I just had this quest to go out west. And so Jim Morrison was the singer that inspired me. And it wasn't just the vocals. It was like this Los Angeles feel, and and Venice Beach one moment, and then Joshua Tree, and I started writing these landscape songs, which I haven't professionally recorded, like Feather of a Phoenix and the Canyon song that's about my road trip from coming from the East Coast to the West Coast. And that was the big inspiration, because I'm first and foremost a poet, and so that another singer is Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline is a big inspiration for me. I used to love just playing Barbies when I was a little kid and just singing to Patsy Cline and learning about her songs are of heartache, and I think that influenced me in some of my songwriting, because I have to be honest with you, Mike, the majority of my songs are about heartache.
Really? Well, that's very bluesy, I guess to say.
But maybe it's a secret. You can't really hear it because there's jovial notes, but it's actually, there's an undertone of some sort of, life is tough. And for everybody listening right now, I mean, maybe you're able to, relate with me about some of these things I've spoken about, and maybe you feel like almost like a channel of great art. And that's what I feel like we are. I mean, we're human. I believe in the concept of the soul. I just believe like, we're in this universe with like there's so much, I mean, we can't even put our finger on it and try to figure it out, just like Einstein with the finger and how many constellations and galaxies are underneath just one finger when we put it, you know what I mean, like that whole theory with Einstein. So it's like we have no idea, like such a big vast universe, and we're just like all energy, you know what I mean? It's like all energy moving through us, and life happens. But when life happens, just know that there's going to be something, a greater purpose and something good that will come out of it, just like out of my heartache, music came out of it. And I had no idea.
Wow.
No idea.
Well, so I'm going to tell you something right now that's going to blow your mind. And I really feel like what you just said, you and I are like soul brother, sister, whatever.
Right.
My father was born in North Carolina. I was born in San Diego.
Wow.
And my father's favorite singer, undoubtedly favorite singer, was Patsy Cline.
Wow.
He loved her. And I used to ask him when I was a little kid, do you like Johnny Cash, or do you like, this band or that band? And he would be like, no. Patsy Cline. Nobody can touch Patsy Cline.
Right.
So that just blows my mind that you said you wanted to move to San Diego. And wow, that's
we were destined to be friends because we're soul sister and brother.
Yeah, that just freaks me out. So okay, tell me about. Okay, we're gonna continue this, but tell me about your film. You have a film company or something like that, or
yeah. BlueSky.
What is that? What is that?
BlueSky Pictures LLC, based out of Austin, Texas, with my partner Royce Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
We've recently created a project, and it's a TV show. I've written the first episode and an outline, and so we've created a marketing deck, and we're just pitching it to see who might want to pick it up, because nowadays with projects, it's basically having independent projects, and then trying to acquire and accrue the funding yourself, and then going to companies for distribution and license. So having an independent film company is important in order to make your dreams come true for the content that you want to see out there, and hope other audiences do too.
Well, so okay, so all right, so let's say I'm a guitar player and I want to make a video. How do I take the jump, the leap? I mean, this just blows my mind. How do I create something like BlueSky Pictures? How is that possible? How do you do that?
Well, to be quite honest, there was a project we were working on right before the pandemic called Sync out of Austin, Texas. And ironically, it was quite prophetic in the sense that in 2019, the fall, I had been cast as the lead in this film. And it was to be about a girl who gets quarantined after contracting a virus, and at her rock show, having to deal with being quarantined. And this is before COVID hit. This is the fall of 2019. So the project, just to let you know, was never completed because or started into production because of the pandemic. So basically everything happened, you know what I mean? Like we were working, we had newscasters that were going to be a part of it, and then they let me know, hey, we're learning to work from home. And that seemed at the time just unbelievable about newscasters not even going into the studio to report the news, having to do it, you know, on their computers like we're doing right now with Zoom. So this was a project that happened. We formed an LLC, and we were in a rush at the time to figure out the name of it. And I came up with In Stereo Productions because I'm a huge fan of the Cars, and I was just like, in stereo, you know. And so anyway, we came up with that on the fly. So the project didn't happen. It dissolved, the film, so that didn't happen. But Royce and I decided let's keep having this venture together of creating films and TV. And so he said, let's come up with a better name. So we thought about it. We put our little thinking caps on, and one day I'm just outside and I'm in the woods, and I look up and I say, Blue Sky. There you go, BlueSky Pictures.
That's kind of like God.
And he liked the idea. And so then I contacted my trademark attorney, and we looked into the trademark, and we just received our registration for BlueSky Pictures LLC for our trademark.
Wow. So okay, so maybe let me cut it a little clearer. So you've been acting and making.
Yeah, I was just on set on Friday for a Hulu TV show playing keyboards.
Oh, tell me that. Tell me about that. Tell me what you can about that. I'm sure you signed an NDA or whatever. So
all I can say is I played keyboards on a TV show recently. So I got cast. I did an audition, which was amazing, and it's incredible, you know, to do all kinds of fun things. I do a lot of different auditions. Wilmington, I'm near there right now. Currently, Wilmington, North Carolina has a great film industry happening. A lot of projects went east to Atlanta and to Wilmington. So I'm having a lot of fun auditioning and getting booked for parts, in addition to working from home with BlueSky Pictures and doing mixing. I have a new song coming out soon. So doing things afar with different engineers in California. I actually have a song going into mastering right now. With Grammy Award-winning Brian Lucy.
What song is that? Can you tell us the title?
It's called God Is a Bullet, and it's a cover song by Concrete Blonde, but we put our own twist on it. So that's all I can say about that right now. But in addition to everything, I also have a new radio show. So I'm broadcasting on a syndicated FM radio show called Beck Black's Beach Shack, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Wait a minute. Radio show Beck Black Beach Shack.
Yeah, Beck Black's Beach Shack, yeah.
Wow. You're busy. You're busy. I got so many I got so many questions here. So when you started BlueSky Pictures, was one of the big motivations for your partner to join with you was because you were acting, making music? Was that an important part of it?
Well, actually, my partner Royce Richmond is a big part of my music videos. He and I worked together for several years. He was a producer on my music videos, would have me go in and do recording sessions. I actually have a country album that's going to come out next year. We already did a video for that, post-pandemic in New York City. That's going to be called Electric Cowgirl. So because of the music videos, Royce and I we formed a film company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Beck, I'd like to cut
I
this.
hope everybody doesn't mind me doing like this. I'm like in the interview.
No,
like,
this
I
is
feel like I'm at a rave right now. I'm like,
this
like,
is very good. So this is going to be the end of part 1, and I want to come back tomorrow and do part 2. Okay, and I would like to talk about. I'd like to talk about your radio show. Get more into your.
You're going to come back tomorrow.
Well, no, we're going to come back actually in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Edit this because this Zoom is going to cut off here in a second because I'm a cheapskate.
I have to change clothes so they don't think I'm wearing the same clothes from yesterday.
Well, go ahead and I'm going to send you. What? No, I don't care. Okay. I sleep in this clothes. You know what I mean?
I'm wearing my Comedy Central shirt that Jeff Ross gave me. I love this.
Wow, that's cool. You've been.
Yeah, because.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I'm so sad a lot of the times. You just need a lot of comedy in your life. I'm not so sad all the time.
So anyway,
all right.
This will be the end of part 1. So,
ladies
and gentlemen, I had Miss Beck Black. She's so interesting. She's a poet. She's a singer. She's in the film industry. She owns a company called BlueSky Pictures. We're going to be back with her tomorrow and talk about her radio show and get more into the nuts and bolts of her singing career. So thank you, Beck Black. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this station, Mike Rogers Show. And also down here, the Mike Rogers Show link is there. And I'm going to put up the link to Beck Black's videos and some of her to her radio show too. It's going to be here.
And to my website. You can just go to my website, beckblack.com, find everything.
Okay, that's so cool. So, Beck, so I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, I'm going to wear the same shirt though.
Okay, so let me hang up.